All right, good evening, everybody. We see some old new faces. Kristen Starling's back. It's nice to see you. I hope you're feeling well. Good. So I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 6:02 PM. We're in the Nashua North Boardroom. It is Monday, May 12th. And Ms. Lampier, can you do the roll call, please?
Miss Darling,
Here.
and I am here. Miss Raymond,
Here.
Miss Prin,
Here.
Mr. Claffey,
Here.
Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Miss Daniels-Williams is not here.
She's not here tonight.
Okay. Miss Gilio,
Here.
Miss Bishop,
Here.
and we also have Dr. Andre and Mr. Posca, Dr. Scarpati, and Student Rep Amid, right?
Yeah.
Sheikh Amid, he's here. Okay, and that's it.
Okay. After you do the opening statement, oh, these guys have learned. Ms. Gilio, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay. As elected officials, we have the high honor and the serious duty of managing the educational institutions of our beloved city. In our common endeavors, may we find a spirit of unity and understanding which will enable us to face our multiple problems with an objective mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to jump right into our consent agenda. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda. Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Do I have a second?
Oh, second.
Thank you, Ms. Raymond. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, Ms. Starling. This brings us up to our first public comment question period. Can somebody please get me the sign-in sheet? Thank you. Okay, first and only up is Mr. Hoffman. Come on, join us.
Gary Hoffman, 38 Perham Street. Just one thing. On the back of the agenda, it says upcoming negotiations dates for the Family Engagement Coordinators and American Sign Language Group. We are not going to be able to have direct negotiations on the 21st. I don't think that we're able to make that happen. We are looking at the 23rd. I hope that does work out, but that right now, we are not going to be meeting directly for negotiations on the 21st. So that's all.
Thank you for that update. I know getting all of those people together at one table is a very challenging task. Okay, so this brings us up to our superintendent's comments, so I will give the floor over to Dr. Andre.
Thank you. This evening, I'm pleased to highlight several exciting accomplishments and important updates from across the Nashua School District. First, student achievement in film and media. Please join me in congratulating Johanna Fossis for earning honorable mention in the prestigious Boston New England Student Production Awards. Competing against high school students from across the region, Johanna received honors in two categories: high school musical category, Everything Goes Wrong, and high school fiction short form, Daisy. Additionally, several students had their capstone films accepted into this year's New Hampshire School Film Festival, a celebration of student creativity and storytelling. Passe, Julia O'Connor, Ava Dennehy, Nicholas Chipchik, Caden Miller, Maeve Willett. For 7 minutes, Julia O'Connell. Daisy, Johanna DeFosis, Caden Miller, Jacoby Rebello, Amanda Eula Davian Cortez. What I have done, Johanna DeFossis, Nicholas Chipkit, and bench buddy Ava Dennehy. The public is invited to attend the film festival on Sunday, May 18th at 12:30 at Chucky's Cinema Pub in Manchester. Academic Excellence National Personal Finance Challenge. Congratulations to the Nashua South team for qualifying for the 2025 National Finals of the National Personal Finance Challenge in Atlanta, Georgia. Representing Nashua will be Yavangaru Balagaruthi, Steve Long, Fanny Sathi, and Calvin Song. We're proud of these students' hard work and look forward to cheering them on as they compete for the national title. Athletic updates. As we know, spring sports are in full swing, and we're excited to have host several games at Stellos Stadium. In addition, we are pleased to share that both of our cooperative hockey teams have been formally approved by the Nashua Athletic Directors Council, a positive step forward in our athletic programs and student athletes. As you know, we've been fighting for a girls hockey program for the last couple of years, and it has been formally approved. Last week, we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week, and I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our teachers, to every student and adult in our system whose dedication makes the Nashua School District a truly special place for the adults and students alike. And community engagement, strategic planning, and facility studies. Finally, we will soon be sending out invitation for community members to participate in our upcoming strategic planning focus groups, as well as our facility studies discussion. Your voice is vital as we shape the future of our schools. Please stay tuned for more information. And let's continue to celebrate the many ways our students, staff, and community are achieving and thriving across the district. Thank you.
Lots of good things happening. That's exciting. So board response to superintendent's comments. I will start over here with Ms. Darling, and we'll make our way around the circle.
No comment.
Okay. Ms. Raymond?
Thank you. It's really great to hear all the great things that our students are doing. I just also wanted to put a plug in there for DECA, because I have seen that we had a number of teams that were top 16 for DECA, and I think one that was in like the top 10 in the country, which is just an amazing amount of work by those students.
Yes.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Okay. Ms. Prin?
Thank you for all the updates, and I also want to echo thanking all the teachers because I appreciate all the teachers in my kids' lives. Definitely here.
Thank you. Mr. Claffey?
No comment.
Mr. Johnson?
Just very excited about everything and extremely excited about the girls' hockey getting off the ground. That was a big issue when I was running for Board of Ed, so I'm happy to see it actually occurring. One thing I wanted to add too is the Nashua South Drama is putting on their play Clue this upcoming weekend, which shows on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Thank you. Ms. Gilio?
Hi, I just want to thank Dr. Andre because this is like my favorite part of the meeting is when we hear about all the wonderful things that are going on. And I think it's great that it comes like early in the meeting before we get down to really handling business. So thank you for sharing.
Yes. Ms. Lampier?
No comment tonight.
Okay. And this brings us up to our student member of the board comments. I see there's going to be no fighting tonight, so I will just hand the floor over to you, Mr. Shea. No. Sheik.
Shake.
Sorry.
As you guys know, AP testing is last week and this week, so good luck to those students who haven't taken their tests yet, and hopefully those who have got a good score.
Stressful time for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you take care of yourselves, too.
Oh, yeah.
Sleep, drink water,
That's not as important as the score.
exercise, and spend time with your friends. That's important, too. Okay. Anyway, this brings us up to our Committee on Finance and Operations. Do you have any updates, Ms. Lampier?
Nope, we have a meeting tomorrow night, so I'll have
Excellent.
something for next meeting.
Okay, perfect. I will hand the floor over to Ms. Raymond for Committee on Policy.
Okay, thank you. So we have a number of policies up for second reading this month. We don't, hold on, I opened the wrong button. We don't have any for the first reading. So second reading means that we've looked at them twice now, and it is time to vote on them unless people have further questions. So the first one that I am making a motion for is policy BEDB, agenda preparation and dissemination. I move that we approve it as it appears in your packet this evening.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy BEDB, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, now I move that we approve policy EFAA, school lunch program meal charges.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Do you want to just speak a little bit to this, Ms. Raymond?
Yes, I just want to point out that this, this new policy combines two old policies. We had EFDA and EFDAR, which we are squishing together into one place so that parents and community members don't have to look in two places. Also, I just want to remind people that it does create actually faster standards for when we get in touch with parents to let them know that the balance has declined. And just to do a little plug, I think Meals That Matter, which is the student-run program for raising money for students who go into the negative, is having some sort of over-the-edge fundraiser. So
Yes.
people look online for Meals That Matter, you can donate to them. Some kids are gonna like rappel off a building in Manchester, which I think is nuts, but good for them. They
Remember
care
when my
about.
daughter did it and I had to watch her and I was like, this is not at all what I want to be looking at right now.
So I just love that we have kids who care so deeply about other kids. But it used to be that that the school wasn't required to start to contact the parents until $20. We're asking them to contact at 10, which frankly has been the practice under our current food services director anyways. So if people have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any comments or questions?
No, I mean, really, the policy is designed to create a cooperative effort between the school district and parents, as opposed to something punitive, because we want kids to eat, but we also want parents to know what resources are out there.
So my only comment question on this is on page 3, under the assessment for neglect reporting. I do this at work too. Parents who have refused to cooperate with filing an application, sometimes I think refused is a rather negative term, because it implies that you're refusing to do it when in fact you could actually be declining to do it for numerous reasons. Would we be open to just say non-compliant with filling out applications instead of refusing?
I think it comes directly from the statute.
Ugh, I hate that. Okay.
So I would be happier to hold it and look it up than to change it. But I'm pretty sure that the language is in there in that way for that reason.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
No, I mean, there's an RSA attached to it, but I don't like that word, refused. I've always not liked
I
it.
don't either, and I don't think refusing, frankly, even if that's what you're doing to fill it out, is neglect. But I think there's a state law that requires that, so I wouldn't want to put us in violation of state law.
Yeah, that's always a bad thing. We'll just send you up north to change it. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy EFAA, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, so the next motion is I move that we rescind EFDA, student meal charges, because it is now part of EFAA we just approved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of rescinding policy EFDA, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. I move that we rescind EFDA-R, which is the procedure for student meal charges, and because again, that all of those steps about contacting families are now in EFAA.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of rescinding policy EFDA-R, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. The next one, I move that we approve GCF, administrative and supervisory vacancies, as it appears in your packet.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ms. Lampier.
So just to speak to this, this actually came up a little bit at HR today. So we have a policy that is fairly unique to Nashua in that we ask that a member of the board sit in on interviews of assistant principal and above. It's really interesting because this evening we had a recommendation for, is it a coordinator level, and that isn't part of the policy. So I don't know if people want it to be or not. I don't have feelings either way. But the two big changes to this policy is that we crossed out through print and electronic media as the ways that are required to advertise externally because technology is constantly changing. And we no longer have a local paper that we're printing and putting things in. So we just thought advertised externally gave the district the flexibility to use other publications. I don't know, there's like, I'm sure there are employment things, there's teacher websites, there's all sorts of places. So we didn't want to confine to just Nashua. And then the other change is on item 2 under the hiring process. We've asked that the HR committee chair be the point person for assigning a board member.
Yes.
Instead of all board members. It hasn't been our practice to email it out to all board members.
Nope.
That just sounds crazy and chaotic. So we're just enshrining what we do. The other little quibble is, it says internal candidates for principal, assistant principal internal candidates will be interviewed on the first day. We crossed out on the first day. So unless it's in the contract, I think it really depends on people's schedules.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think when did you get a second? Did she get a second?
Yes, I seconded it.
That's why I didn't remember it. When we pick for HR committee, we typically pick people who are more available during the day so that we can accommodate this expectation. Is that working out so far?
Pretty much. And I have been the person that's been contacted almost exclusively for the last year when there are interviews that are going to happen. And then, I share that with the committee. And if we can't make the interviews, then it is open to the rest of the board if someone else wants to sit in.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing prohibiting another member of the board from sitting in on an interview. And especially, I think we've seen that in cases where there was a position and a board member had a particular background or expertise in that topic that person was going to be hired on. Like the communication specialist or whatever. But I do think that having the chair of HR being the point person makes the most sense for the way the board operates smoothly.
Absolutely, and if it's working well, then we might as well put it into a policy. Okay, so any other comments or questions in regards to this policy? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy GCF, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. I move that we approve IKFB, Adult Learning Education Program of Studies. Oh, wait, that's not what it's supposed to say. Let me say it properly because it is a misprint. I move that we approve IKFB, which should read Nashua Center for Lifelong Learning Program of Studies.
Second.
Thank you. I don't want it to go up as a thing. So Ms. Lesser is the director of what used to be the Adult and Community School at Nashua and is now the Nashua Center for Lifelong Learning. She gave a wonderful presentation at a curriculum meeting a few 6 weeks ago, maybe? I don't know. It's been a little while. But after that, we asked her to look at the policy and make sure that the policy aligned with her vision for her program. And so the changes are to the title. It's now the Nashua Center for Lifelong Learning. We've added who is eligible to enroll in this, which is pretty much any student over 18. But if you are a current student, you need to talk to your guidance counselor. And then we have updated some of the other titles. So instead of adult basic education, it's high school equivalency. And we've changed 21st century enrichment to enrichment and community education because I found it confusing because 21st Century Club is a program for elementary school students. This is clearly not. That's it. Ms. Lesser is amazing. She's doing a great job.
Any comments or questions? I just think it's amazing that we've had this program around since 1981, which is the first time this policy came to light. And if I do my math correctly, that was 22 years ago.
Yes, it was.
And you'll notice the gap where we updated it in 1987 and then didn't touch it again for 20 years.
Yes.
We won't mention that a
30
certain
years.
board member was born in 1981.
So yeah, this is excellent. I'm glad we offer this in our program of studies. Seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor of approving policy IKFB, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
I do actually have a question for Dr. Andrade on that. So I know there have been a lot of federal funding changes happening. The last thing I had heard was that some of the grants and some of the federal funding that pays for this stuff was still available for next year. Do we have any sense of whether or not that's going to change? Something I'm really worried about, actually.
As of Friday afternoon, that's the same message we got.
Okay.
So, but it changes on a daily basis. But I think for this upcoming year, we're pretty secure as to following year. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Okay. Okay. And then the last one I have tonight is I move that we approve KF, community use of school facilities.
Second.
Right, for which I got 0 emails or calls on this one, which I was surprised, because this is the policy by which community agencies and really anyone rents the use of our facilities, whether it's a cafeteria for a nighttime meeting, like I know the mayor and the ward aldermen have their ward meetings in the buildings, to a dance competition, to a play, to cheerleading and wrestling and PAL basketball. No, probably not PAL basketball, but the rec league basketball. And nobody called me or emailed me about any of the changes, including some small fee increases. So, which I don't see in the packet. Oh, no, there it is. They're there. They're there. It's just an extra page. All right.
Yep.
So,
Ms. Lamfair?
I was just wanted to ask if Ms. Gingras had reached out yet to our exempt youth leagues to let them know that they would be responsible for a small fee to keep up with the use of the mats and stuff.
Not to my knowledge. I think there's been some discussion about the usage of those mats and the wear and tear of the mats over the course of the years. I don't think it's going to be a big surprise when that comes up, and I think we kind of left it vague enough so that we could work with those programs so that fee can be assessed in a more fair and equitable manner.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I mean, for me personally, as budgets are tightening everywhere, I really don't want to see kids lose the opportunity to participate in sports. I think it's a really key developmental, milestone to be able to have those experiences and anything we can do to help. So if this becomes problematic, my hope is that the administration will bring it back to the board.
Okay. Seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor of approving policy KF, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Do we have updates from curriculum and evaluation, or is that also later?
Yes, that's later.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, I will hand the floor over to Ms. Gilio for human resources.
Okay, we met earlier this evening, and the first item on our agenda, which we approved, was, well, first we have to suspend, we need to suspend the rules. I'm looking for a recommendation to suspend the rules to consider items from the HR meeting held earlier this evening.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. The first item was a recommendation to approve the work-based learning coordinator job description, which we had in our, which we found in our packets for tonight, and we unanimously approved that position. And so we recommend that the full board approve it I'm making a motion that the full board approve it as well.
Second.
Okay, any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of, wait, sorry, I wasn't listening.
Work-based learning coordinator.
The work-based
job
learning
description.
coordinator job description, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Next, we had only one personnel recommendation, which was one retirement, which we approved. And we recommend that the whole board approve that. So I'm making a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, so any comments or questions about the personnel recommendations? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the personnel recommendations of May 12th, 2025, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. We also have an administration recommendation, and I'm going to make the motion. The recommendation is to approve Timothy Cochran Jr. to the position of Civil Rights Compliance Coordinator at an annual salary of $125,000. Sadly, he was not able to be here tonight, but he's going to come to one of our other meetings so that we can find out a little bit about him, and we unanimously approved that recommendation.
Fantastic. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Raymond. Any comments or questions?
I'm just going to say what I said in the meeting, which is that we started looking at this position before COVID, because sometimes when the district has to hire outside legal representation, if there's an allegation of, say, sexual harassment or something, it is extraordinarily expensive. And I sincerely believe that paying someone an annual salary will actually save the district money over having to hire lawyers at multiple $100s an hour anytime allegations come up. So,
Yes.
I actually think it's a cost-saving measure.
Yes, agreed. Okay, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the administrative recommendation for, what was his name again?
His name is Timothy Cochran.
Timothy Conklin Jr.
Cochran Jr., yes.
at the annual rate of $125,000?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and finally, we had I make a recommendation that we approve the 2025-2026 teacher, principal, and assistant principal renomination list, which was included in our packet tonight, and we approved that
Second.
earlier this evening.
Oh, second.
Thank you, Ms. Raymond. Okay, any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the 25-26 teacher, principal, and assistant principal renomination list, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Wow. We got a lot of work done earlier today. Okay, so this brings us up to our unfinished business. I will hand the floor over to Dr. Andre.
Thank you. So I don't know if this is unfinished or finished or continuing business. So on Friday afternoon, we had a meeting with the Department of Justice, and a letter was shortly sent to us shortly thereafter. And in the letter, I'll read, it's in your packet, but the DOJ says, we write to notify you that the United States has determined that the district has satisfied its obligations under the 2021 settlement agreement and the letter of agreement of December 19th, 2024. We are therefore concluding the monitoring of the settlement agreement. So it further goes on to say the district has an obligation to comply with the EEOA and take appropriate action to overcome language barriers that impede the equal participation by its students in its instructional programs. So, and therefore, should the United States receive a complaint that the district has discriminated against a student under EEOA or alleging any other violation of the laws we enforce, the United States may open a new investigation. That you all want to say, thank you for implementing the settlement agreement protections for EL students. We extend our appreciation to the many administrators, teachers, and staff who have contributed to these important efforts, and in particular, the dedicated staff of the ELL department. So I want to echo their sentiments and everyone who's been involved with the settlement agreement over the last couple of years. So that's a transition for us in turning a new page. So, and it's really from compliance to commitment. So the DOJ has acknowledged that we have made, in their words, some outstanding progress, but the work is not done. And so just again, in the December, last December of 2024, they still had 8 areas of concern. In 5 months, those concerns have not gone away. So again, we're going to go from compliance to commitment. And I just want to reinforce that these are the areas that we still have to do a lot of work on. We're not there yet. The identification and placement of ELL students, provisions of ELL students and access to the core curriculum, staffing and professional development, EL access to special services, curriculum and resources, communication, program monitoring, and evaluation. So while we've satisfied our settlement agreement of where we're at currently, again, the work is not done. So I really want to stress the message, and we'll be meeting with our admin tomorrow and sending out further communications on we are still committed to this work. So we do not have the compliance. We don't have the DOJ looking over our shoulders. We owe it to our students. We owe it to our community. So we will not regress. We will not revert back to practices and procedures that were followed pre the settlement agreement. So I want to be really transparent, open, and honest that while the DOJ will not come in for compliance to the settlement agreement, I will not, as I told them on Friday, I will not miss their letters saying, according to paragraph 52, line X, Y, and Z, you need to adhere by this. But we still have a lot of work to do. And again, I think really the ELL department, the leadership team, all our ELL teachers, our administrators, really the community, for making tremendous progress over the last 3 years. So again, it's just the settlement agreement is over, but the work is still ongoing. So I just want to be transparent tonight, let the community know that the settlement agreement is over, but I think it's really incumbent upon the administration, our teachers, and the Board of Education to continue this work and make sure that we do not regress in providing levels of service for our ELL students. In our meeting on Friday, they did warn us there are some still exposures if we do not continue to move forward, that we would be exposed to potential investigations or OCR complaints in the future if we do not address those 8 areas of concerns.
I want to say in regards to this is, I think what started off as a very daunting process, 3 years ago, the level of community commitment that we've had in regards to making these changes and recognizing that we have students who have exceptional needs that we need to accommodate for, and the community coming together and saying, absolutely, we're here to support this. And it's been fantastic to see that shift, I think, in our small town. So I'm very proud of not just you guys and all of the hard work that you've done, but also students and teachers and parents who have come together to be supportive as well. So, yay. But yes, continued commitment to all things students. Any comments or questions? Seeing none. Ms. Lampier?
I just wanted to thank Dr. Andrade because when I saw this letter, I knew right away that Dr. Andrade made a commitment and he was going to stick to it. And I feel like if we had had a different type of leader, that commitment might not have been as strong. So, I just knew that we could trust you 100% with this. So thank you.
Yes. Ms. Raymond?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ms. Lampier really nailed it. We started this process with the DOJ under different leadership, and Dr. Andrade came into kind of a mess. I mean, I think it was like your second day where they were like, oh, hey, by the way, this was due tomorrow, and you guys haven't even started it. Which is, there was a change of leadership. And so I think it really speaks to your commitment in making this happen, but also making some really targeted staffing adjustments to meet the needs of the student population that we have. And I know, because we've seen it, how much work the teachers and the support staff and administrators have done to get us here. Like it was not easy by any stretch of the imagination. No. And so I'm glad to see that we have completed it to their satisfaction, but also that we're not changing our plans for expanding, right? So next year we will continue to hire more ELL students. We will continue to have that commitment to all of the students and all of the families that are in the district.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I'm really glad I enjoyed your speech.
Yeah, I'm excited about all of this. Okay, so we have no new business. Do we have liaison report? Ms. Raymond?
So last time we were here, we had talked about the general assurances, and several of us had some significant concerns about the general assurances, and then also another document that was similar, and we were going to come back and talk about that before it was due in June 1st. Which, do we meet again between now and June 1st?
We do meet again before then. I mean, I know the answer, but
Yeah, didn't go, yeah.
I think we're just holding off the language that's in it with the EO orders that have been overturned. We're waiting to hear back from the Department of Ed if they're pulling a couple of those sentences before we sign it.
Okay.
Tom, our attorney, will come in at the next meeting to review if changes had been made, and if they haven't been made, what our next steps are going to be.
All right, as long as we have the attorney coming, for some reason, I thought we weren't going to meet again, and I was like, where's it going?
So I think we're waiting till the last possible minute just because things are shifting so dramatically that I would hate for us to sign something that is going to just completely be null and void in, 3 weeks.
I agree, because I think many of us had concerns about the illegality of some of the language, and that is why some districts sued. So I don't love suing people, suing the state. It's not fun for anyone.
Yeah.
And we know how those things drag out, like the fair funding lawsuit that started, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. But at the same time, I know we're not alone as a district in having reservations.
Right. You know me, I like to get things done. If it's on my to-do list, it needs to get checked off quickly, but this is something that I'm okay dragging my feet on to the last possible moment.
Okay, great.
So Tom
you.
will come in and chat with us at another time. Do anything else, or did I?
That's it.
Okay. Yay, I listened. Okay, so this brings us up to our, liaison. We don't have any liaison reports. We haven't done anything. Okay, so this brings us to our second public comment. If somebody wants to grab me the. Get it? Oh, my cup. That's okay. Okay, so we have 3 people on the list. Again, 3 minutes. There's a 3-minute limit on public comment. So I will start a timer. We do have a couple of people. First up is Mr. Hoffman.
Gary Hoffman, 38 Perham Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. Certainly, that's very good news about the Department of Justice settlement. It's congratulations to Central Office, everybody that made that happen. Furthermore, I just want to congratulate the district and thank the negotiating teams from the district for coming to tentative agreements on our paraeducator and teacher contract. I want to commend Attorney Tom Clausen, Dr. Andre, Mr. Posca, Sharon, and Giulio, and Rob Johnson, and Kirsten Prin, and Heather Raymond, and everybody else, Crystal DeGray, who's not here, and Michael Bowes, and everyone else who really made this happen before the contracts expired. You know, this is not usually what happens. It's a great achievement, but the next step for my end is on May 21st, the paraeducators will be discussing and voting on the tentative agreement. Around 4 o'clock, I will let you know what they decide to do with it. And then on May 27th at 4 p.m., the teachers will be discussing and voting on the contract as well. And after that, you know, I know you do have a meeting on the 27th, you know, so I will let you know what they decide. I'll be coming right over. We'll be right there. Furthermore, I know she's not here tonight, but I want to thank Shawanda Daniels. She came down on Friday to work on the Ed Council report on the middle school study with me. We have a draft. She's looking it over right now, and she's going to give her comments to me, and we may change a few things. I plan to send that report to Ed Council on Tuesday, May 20th for review. And at some point, once Ed Council makes its decision on what they're going to do with that report, it will then be brought to the full school board. And, you know, I know there's going to be a lot of stuff going on probably in that 27th meeting, but I hope at some point before, you know, maybe sometime in June, if we could devote a little bit of time to unpacking it, because I think that Ed Council report, there's a lot of good information there, and I think it's a tool that we can learn from. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. The report, are you going to be able to email it to me and Mr. Johnson before the meeting, just so we can review it?
Yeah, it's Heather, not Heather, Shawanda.
She'll hand it over?
When she gives me the okay, I'll send it.
Okay.
So yeah, she has it now and she's looking it over, and when she says okay, I'll send it, okay?
Okay, perfect, thank you. Next up is Stephen Scare. I will start your 3 minutes when you're done saying your name and your address.
Stephen Scare, 111 East Hobart Street. Good evening, Madam Chair. With June approaching, I asked Nashua Public Schools to stop promoting gender ideology. Specifically, please stop the displays of the pride flag, such as the one out here in the foyer, and please ask your counselors and your teachers not to affirm children's delusions in safe spaces. Children deserve to be protected from being pushed down a path of irreversible medical harm and to grow up in a world where 2 + 2 = 4. Transgenderism doesn't belong in school because it's a religion. It teaches that a boy's soul or gender identity can inhabit a girl's body, that this gender identity, not her body, is her authentic self, and it must be affirmed socially and medically if she requests, or she's at risk of dying by her own hand. In truth, our bodies are real, but gender identities are imaginary, based on stereotypes, circular reasoning, the desire for people to escape their bodies, fantasies about being the opposite sex, and the coercion that now permeates every aspect of our lives. Objectively, a girl can't be a boy can't be a girl, and it's wrong to compel students to pretend otherwise. We have entered into the darkness we were warned about 3/4 of a century ago, where the very concept of objective truth is fading from the world. And it's the duty of intelligent men and women to restate the obvious. Please consider restoring Nashua schools to reality. Thank you.
Chelsea Marvin, please.
Hi everyone. I'm Chesley Marvin, 10 Marion Lane, Nashua, New Hampshire. I am coming to speak to you today from Say Yes to Recess, New Hampshire, and I'd like to inspire more hearts and minds to increase recess in our public district schools and join me in the fight. I have 2 kids, 2.5 and 1, and we're zoned to new cereals. As I think about schooling options, the lack of unstructured outdoor playtime in the public schools is forcing me to consider other options for my girls, like private or charter schools. They're currently attending a daycare where they spend 2 or more hours outside a day, and the shock of entering kindergarten where they may only get 20 to 30 minutes of recess does worry me, as it's not enough time for a child to fully engage in their activity or decompress from the instructional blocks. I have spoken to countless parents who have similar concerns, which inspired me to join forces with the growing national movement, Say Yes to Recess, in hopes of making lasting change to better support the well-being of New Hampshire's children. Currently, our state has no minimum recess requirement, and an elementary school can only count 30 minutes of resource toward an instructional day. In reality, implementation varies widely. We aim to legislate a 60-minute daily recess minimum for grades K through 5 that cannot be taken away as punishment or replaced with an adult-directed activity. We surveyed 60 teachers, and a whopping 95% of respondents think recess is highly important for students' overall well-being. 75% of teachers believe students are not currently getting enough during their school day. The majority favor 2 recess sessions, 30 minutes in length, and a total of 60 minutes or more daily. So why does everyone want 60 minutes? Well, TCU's LINK project studied children for a decade and determined that at least 60 minutes of unstructured outdoor play resulted in 70% less chronic stress, 40% reduction in off-task behavior, a 6% decrease in overweight, and 10% higher test scores on standardized testing by 4th grade, as observed by a local teacher. Recess allows opportunities for children to practice social skills, conflict management skills, and more, which are things children desperately need more and more practice with, as they're spending more and more time online. The power of play at all ages is massive. It allows creativity, curiosity, and cooperation to emerge naturally. I truly believe in the importance of public schools and know we need to invest in them, both monetarily and pedagogically, to stay relevant and best serve our growing population. Parents, teachers, and kids all love recess. The research backs up its importance. Our children deserve a public school system that operates under the guidance of modern research understanding of age-appropriate needs. It's time for New Hampshire to step up and say yes to recess. And we love the support of everyone here. You can follow us on Instagram or join our Facebook group, Say Yes to Recess New Hampshire, and sign our petition on change.org. Thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us up to the end of our public comments. It is now time for our board member comments. I will again start with Ms. Darling and make our way around. Ms. Darling?
No comment.
Ms. Raymond?
Thanks. So I could not agree more that we need more recess time.
Yes.
I was actually up at the State House on Friday testifying on an amendment to a bill that would have required, or that will require, because I'm sure it will pass, mandatory firearm safety training starting in kindergarten every year. And part of my testimony was that we have so many mandates, especially at the elementary level, that there isn't enough time in the school day to offer more recess, which everyone agrees is important and a good thing, without extending the school day. And so I'm glad that she spoke about that, because it gave me a way to talk about the fact that we shouldn't prioritize firearms training to kindergartners over recess, and we really need to be talking to our State Department of Education and our state leaders about how many mandates they're going to give to our public schools.
Yes. Ms. Prinn?
How much recess do kids get at the elementary schools?
There is an exact minute.
No, there's not an exact minute, I'm just curious. No, I'm all for extra recess too. I really think they need it, especially
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes, yeah. Okay, all right, that's it.
Mr. Claffey?
No comment.
Mr. Johnson?
I appreciate the recess. Kids need their time outside, and they do not need to be taking that time away to learn about firearms, and that's just ridiculous. And I was going to speak more on the DEI, but I think I'll save that for our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gilio?
I have no comment tonight.
Ms. Lampier?
I hope everybody gets to enjoy the beautiful weather. The rain was very depressing. I'm Glad it's over. I hope it's over for a long time.
Until next weekend. I just, again, I feel like we haven't seen each other in a very long time. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I've missed seeing all of your faces. It was nice to get back into the boardroom. It feels like we're doing good work, celebrating all of our students and supporting all of our students and getting the education that they need, no matter what their background or story is. And we're here to make sure that they're all cared for and we're able to adapt to them to the best of our abilities. So with that, I have nothing else to add. I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Prin. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.